I started this course with the intention to have more community around me and cook for, family and friends. And I also wanted to learn things to help reduce weight because I'd come out of surgeries that had me uh, pretty down for a while. So it's been my intention to have more people in my life learning things from this class. I needed to move, and now I'm moving. And so I got this class with Evan. I'm really excited because I have intentions to lose weight, and I did lose weight. And I'm cooking things that are much more, I don't know, refreshing and light. I tended to eat emotionally or kind of unconsciously out of loneliness or just being a single old lady, living in a cove, fishing cove with only 300 people around me. My mindset was strictly eat kind of till you blog it, you sort of numb out life or whatever. And working with Evan has brought a great deal of approaching food with meeting the animal through the spirit of the animal or the plant, using the spirits of the animals and the plants to really um, measure in what I need from that plant or that meat, like how much. And it's brought meaningfulness to cooking and mindfulness to my consciousness around how I'm eating and praying before I eat. I really have valued what I've invested in because I know it's an investment, Evan. This was not like, oh, I had this, experience and it's over. It's not. It's definitely been difficult to work through some of the resistance issues I carry internally, and it's been amazing to see some of those things crumble away and see just new pathways that I can think about food and work with food and just be completely clean about it, like not hiding that I'm having, you know, menu though, you know, it's great.
Yeah.
Um, One of the biggest takeaways I think from both classes, so it's just a theme that I've picked up from Evan, from you, that is about food freedom. And I think it's really going to be a fun future for me to explore how meat has always been with me, but for some reason I picked up some adage that says, oh, you're not supposed to eat red meat, very often. Consequently, my constitution really requires meat. And instead of eating meat more than, like I would like to eat it, I was filling myself with a lot of carbs and sugars and snacks where I started eating meat again, and I feel like really good on it. So, yeah, my choice to have food freedom, there's been real subtle, gentle breakthroughs. So, I grew up on tongue for sandwiches for lunch. Um, I grew up on menudo, but we, called it tripe. And my parents would eat sweetbreads, brains. We grew up, having liver regularly. So that all stopped for me out of high school. Like I got culturized, Western culturized. Our culture didn't come from seafood. I'm from the Pueblos. And basically our culture puts the balance in for the coastlines. Yeah, I mean, it's been kind of like I've had meat shame for a long time. And
Mm.
I feel really happy to get past that because really, ironically, meat's always made me feel better. And I'm looking forward to what I can extend from the lessons I've learned, knife skills, practicing with vegetables, cutting different things, onions. Um, Working with my blender. I did not work with, I think my first use with my blender was in our class. And I was blown away by the coconut carrot soup day one. That was just hook, line, and sinker. I was in. It was great. Learning to do short ribs. I've never made them in my life. That was the first time I made them. I think was my most impressive dinner for me. The sauce. I wasn't a fan of wine sauce when we started, but by the next day, it was incredible. Everything was melded together. It was a super level up experience. And I consider myself a pretty good cook. So I thought that was a real elevation for me. I always wanted to know how to make sauerkraut. It's a simple thing. Yeah, you just add salt. But I didn't know how to do it. And I never did it because I didn't know how to do it. It's a really good class just to take, just to observe yourself with food. You know, it's eye-opening from an angle you don't expect. So I've really let go of hoarding food in weird ways and having really expired things, which I would never eat. They just sit in the fridge. Like, what are they going to do? Grow a plant? I don't know. Like, been freedom to throw stuff away out of my fridge. When I looked at it closely, I thought, this is not for what he's offering. These are takeaway lessons for the rest of your life. And we have access to new people and cooking and friends. And I just saw it as a really great opportunity to learn and be supported in a spiritual family too, which I don't have out here. So I jumped in it and I've not looked back. It's been great. I've even turned a couple people onto it. So I've shared this class with two of my children. My son took the mindful cooking with me and we did it together. It's been very great to see him and he loves to cook. Then I shared the relationship with food with my daughter, and she's really, really embraced the class. And I think it's made some profound impacts on both of us. So I think it's been wonderful to address food issues as well as spiritual issues and emotional issues that contribute to how we eat or behave and socialize with food. It's been really powerful. My children have lived in a different generation with food than I grew up in. So I'll be honest, the friendship I have with my daughter after taking this class, and we took the relationship to food group, which was really diving deep into our experiences with food. And I think our relationship is like 200% because of it. Like, I had the best Mother's Day with my daughter this year. And we went and fancy schmancy restaurant. They ordered everything they wanted. I haven't had a good time like that in a restaurant with my kids for a long time because they're had regimented food issues or couldn't eats and couldn't haves. And I just feel like that's all in the past now. But we all will be conscious of what works and what doesn't. And nobody's really going to try to hurt ourselves, you know? It's like with awareness and responsibility. Yeah. This new freedom. Yeah, I've made some really good friends. I actually was blown away at some of the people in my cooking group because we had this just really spontaneous meeting. I happened to be going to my 50th year anniversary of high school down in LA, and two of the women are in that area. And I had the opportunity to run into that. We made a point to meet up, and Taylor brought her honeybee honey and made some candles for us out of her beeswax. And Bettina shared her home with us and her artistic endeavors and gave us a book she'd published. And I shared homemade beans because I was on the road and I had cooked in someone's house. So I had this big Tupperware of beans and everybody got some, and it was a blessing to all of us. And I feel like those are some really key people to me now. I really like them. Happy they're in my life. So yeah, I understand health, I understand functional food, but to get down in the cooking aspect with it and to get down into the deep part of your emotional seatedness around behaviors with food has been more than a cooking class and more than a psych class and more than a shrink. It's the everyday walk that makes you wake up and say, wow, I can do this with grace. I can actually be in this loving way with my body and this food. And I'll receive this in such a good way that, you know, it might work towards my health instead of against my health. Let's really take care of our food and enjoy it. And I'm so grateful I took it, Evan. I also want to cry right now. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
No, I feel like it's beautiful. You know, it's beautiful.